Hello, everyone. Today I'm going to tell you the exciting story of my first trip to Europe, an experience full of surprises, discoveries, and of course, many challenges. Get ready to embark on this unforgettable adventure with me. My name is Anna, I'm 30 years old, and ever since I was a child, I've always dreamed of visiting Europe. I grew up watching movies and reading books about Paris, London, Rome, places that seemed so distant and magical. But for many years, that dream seemed unattainable. Until one day, I decided it was time to turn my dream into reality. The first thing I did was plan everything meticulously. I researched the destinations, the most famous tourist spots, and also the lesser-known but equally charming places. I used tools like Google Maps to plot routes and Booking.com to book hotels. Planning was crucial to ensure everything went perfectly. Packing was a challenge in itself. I had to think about clothes suitable for different climates, as Europe is quite diverse in that aspect. It was also important to bring power adapters, as electrical standards vary from country to country. And of course, I couldn't forget my passport, my camera, and a good book for the long hours of flight. On the day of the trip, my anxiety was through the roof. I said goodbye to my family at the airport and boarded the plane with a mix of nervousness and excitement. The flight was long, but the thought that in a few hours I would be stepping on European soil kept me excited. I arrived in Paris, the city of light, and the first thing I did was visit the Eiffel Tower. The emotion of seeing that world-famous icon up close was indescribable. The tower, with its imposing iron structure, seemed even more majestic in person. I took the opportunity to go up to the top, and the view from there was simply spectacular. The city at my feet, the Seine River winding through historic buildings. It was like being in a dream. Besides the Eiffel Tower, I explored other tourist spots like the Louvre Museum and Notre Dame Cathedral. Each place had its own history and beauty, and I can't forget to mention French cuisine. I tasted croissants, baguettes, and of course, the famous macarons. Each meal was a new discovery for my taste buds. From Paris, I traveled by train to other cities. London was my next destination. Arriving in the British capital was like stepping into a storybook. I visited Big Ben, Westminster Abbey, and Tower Bridge. The city was vibrant and full of life. I used the subway, known as the Tube, to get around. It was an interesting and somewhat challenging experience, but I managed to adapt quickly. In London, I also had the opportunity to watch a play in the famous West End. It was amazing to see the energy and talent of the actors live. The London nightlife is something special, with its pubs and restaurants always full of lively people. My journey then took me to Rome, a city that breathes history. Walking through the Colosseum, the ancient gladiator arena, was a breathtaking experience. I visited the Roman Forum, the Trevi Fountain, and St. Peter's Basilica in the Vatican. Each monument told a part of Rome's rich history. Italian food deserves a chapter of its own. I tasted pizzas, pastas, and gelatos that seemed made by the gods. Each meal was a celebration of flavors. Besides the big capitals, I also explored smaller and equally charming cities. Bruges, in Belgium, with its canals and medieval architecture, was one of the most picturesque. The tranquility of the place and the friendliness of the people made the visit unforgettable. It was in Bruges that I met Emma, an Australian traveler who, like me, was exploring Europe for the first time. We connected immediately due to our enthusiasm and curiosity about the world. Emma had a contagious energy and an incredible knack for finding hidden gems that weren't in any travel guide. Together, we explored the cobblestone streets of Bruges, visiting quaint cafes and charming shops. We took a boat tour through the canals, marveling at the medieval buildings reflected in the water. Emma's adventurous spirit led us to discover a small chocolate shop where we indulged in some of the best chocolate we had ever tasted. After Bruges, Emma and I decided to continue our journey together for a while. We traveled to Amsterdam where we rode bicycles along the canals and visited the Van Gogh Museum. Our next stop was Vienna, Austria. The city was a delight for the eyes with its palaces and lush gardens. We visited Schönbrunn Palace and were enchanted by its beauty and grandeur. Emma, who had a great interest in classical music, took me to a Mozart concert at the famous Vienna Opera House. It was a magical experience to hear Mozart's melodies in such a majestic setting. In Prague, Czech Republic, we got lost in the narrow, charming streets. The city's Gothic architecture was impressive, and Charles Bridge, with its statues and view of the Vltava River, was simply stunning. In one of the city's cafes, we met a group of local musicians and spent a pleasant evening listening to their stories and songs. Our last stop together was Barcelona, Spain. The vibrant and colorful city welcomed us with Gaudi's masterpieces like the Sagrada Familia and Park Güell. We strolled along Las Ramblas and enjoyed tapas at a local restaurant. Emma, always curious, insisted on watching a flamenco show, and it was incredible to see the passion and energy of the dancers. Traveling through Europe was more than fulfilling a dream. It was an experience of learning and personal growth. I discovered new places, new cultures, and, above all, discovered myself. I faced challenges, such as the language barrier and adapting to different customs, but each difficulty overcome was a victory. Upon returning home, I brought back more than just memories and souvenirs. I brought a new perspective on life, a greater openness to new experiences, an immense gratitude for the experiences lived, and, of course, a huge desire to plan the next trip. Meeting Emma and sharing part of this journey with her made it even more special, proving that the connections we make can be just as impactful as the destinations we visit. This trip showed me that the world is vast and full of wonders waiting to be discovered, and that the true essence of travel lies in the experiences and the people we meet along the way. Each city, each meal, each conversation taught me something new and helped me grow as a person. Now, with a heart full of memories and a soul full of stories, I'm ready for the next chapter of my life. And who knows, maybe the next adventure will take me to even more distant and magical places. Because in the end, traveling is more than just seeing new places. It's about transforming and becoming a better version of oneself. And that is the story of my first trip to Europe, a journey of overcoming persistence and change. A story I will always keep in my heart, and one I hope will inspire others to follow their own dreams and explore the world with curious eyes and an open heart.